The human ovulatory cycle and hormonal changes. The ovulatory cycle spans on average 28 days, whereby women are more or less most fertile around day 14. Most women don't know when they are ovulating because there are a few obvious signals indicating a woman's fertility. The ovulatory shift hypothesis proposed that natural selection may have shaped aspects of women's psychology to shift during the brief window within each cycle when conception is possible. Especially this hypothesis predicts that women at peak fertility should have more pronounced preferences for potential sex partners who show genetic fitness. Ovulating women should choose wiser when it comes to looking for a mate, because it would have big consequences in case of conception. And with this hypothesis was indeed already found that near ovulation women preferred more symmetrical and masculine faces, men would display greater social dominance, and men would possess deeper masculine voices. Lastly, it was also found that ovulating women are motivated to be more social and appear more attractive at social events. Taken together, this literature showed that women around ovulation shift in mating preference and motivation.
The previous literature led to 4 hypotheses that were tested within 3 sub-studies. The first hypothesis stated that near ovulation, women should be more likely to choose sexier and revealing clothing and other fashion items rather than items that are less revealing and sexy. The hypothesis was tested in the first sub-study. In this study participated 60 female students at a large public university in the United States. Only the women who reported regular monthly menstrual cycles and were not on any form of hormonal contraception were recruited for participation in the study. These women were told that they were participating in a study on relationships, fashion and health. The women were invited into the lab on an expected high fertility day and an expected low fertility day. For the high fertility testing, women also needed to complete a urine test. They were not aware that this was used to measure whether they were ovulating or not. After the fertility was determined, the participant had to fulfill a virtual shopping task. They were instructed to select 10 items that they would like to bring home today. The items were rated in a different sample as sexy or less sexy. They could either choose from 64 or 128 items. To test whether the act of shopping for clothing might naturally lead women to compare themselves to other attractive or other average-looking women, another sample was used to test this hypothesis. They had to do the same task with the same instructions, and it appeared that the act of shopping for clothing and other fashion accessories naturally primes comparisons with attractive potential rivals. The results were consistent with hypothesis 1. There was a significant main effect of fertility. Women chose a greater percentage of sexy clothing and accessory items near ovulation compared to when they were not ovulating. The second hypothesis stated that ovulation should lead women to be especially likely to choose sexier products when women are primed to compare themselves to attractive female rivals. This hypothesis was tested in the second study. In this study, again 48 female students had to complete the same shopping task as in study 1 and the urine test to see whether they were ovulating. However, the participants were put in different conditions and were primed to think about specific types of individuals right before the task. The women were primed to think about attractive local women, unattractive local women, attractive local men and unattractive local men. This was done by showing them 10 pictures. They were told that the women were from the same university as they are in. The photos were rated in another sample. The findings were consistent with the predictions. When primed with attractive rivals, ovulation led women to choose significantly more sexy outfits. In fact, the 25% fertility difference observed in the second study was quite a bit more than the 10% boost found in the first study. This means that the women in the second study chose 25% more sexy products when they were primed with attractive rivals compared to 10% in the first study. As we can see in this figure, when primed with attractive women, the percentage of sexy items chosen was a lot more than when primed with unattractive women. That did not have a significant difference for low or high fertility. Further could be seen that the percentage of sexy items chosen was higher when the women were primed with attractive men than unattractive men, but this effect was the same for high and low fertility, meaning that the effect of ovulation on these types of product choices does not appear to be related directly to the woman's desire as men. The third hypothesis stated that there should be no differences in product choice and non-ovulating women when women are primed with unattractive women or men. Also, this hypothesis was found to be true after the second study. The priming with unattractive women and attractive men showed all the same. For all these options was found that there was no significant difference of ovulating women and non-ovulating women. Hypothesis 4 stated that ovulation should lead women to choose sexier products when primed to think about local attractive women who constitute potential direct rivals. However, ovulation should not influence the product choice when women are primed to think about women from distant locations, because such women do not constitute direct rivals. The hypothesis was tested in the third and last study. In the third study, the same shopping task as in study 1 and 2 was done by 161 participants. However, now the women were primed to think about attractive local women, unattractive local women, attractive distant women, and unattractive distant women. Again, they were primed with these pictures, but now they were told that these women were located at another university over 1,000 miles from the participants' university. Thus, these women did not constitute direct rivals. Figure, we can see here that also the fourth hypothesis can be accepted. The percentage of sexy items was highest for ovulating women with the priming of an attractive local woman. Furthermore, there was no effect for ovulating or non-ovulating women with the priming of distant attractive women, distant unattractive women, and local unattractive women. So the fourth hypothesis was accepted. Also, something else was found. Women that were not ovulating did not choose sexier clothes at all, and thus had no interest in competing with attractive local women.
So, to conclude hormones, this study found that hormonal factors can have an influence on product choice. It was already found that women act different around ovulation. For example, the preference for more masculine symmetrical faces or deep masculine voices. On the question, do hormones influence product choice? Oh yes, they do. We can say that women during ovulation tend to buy different products that advance their appearance. And they do this even more when another female is around. So Jane has to look sexier because they want to outperform their rivals. When looking at attractive men, both ovulating and non-ovulating women were inclined to buy more sexy items. This means that women in general want to dress more sexy when an attractive man is around. An implication of this research is that social learning, social role, or social identity models could make the female role more salient, which could lead women to want to choose sexier clothing. However, these perspectives are salient on why women's social roles or identity would be more salient specifically when women are ovulating. Also, other psychological mediators could have an influence, but there has to be done more research into this to confirm or deny. Also, more research on other hormonal effects on consumer behavior can still be done. Information that women's product choice is affected by their ovulation can be used by marketeers, for example, to adjust their marketing strategy. Thank you all for listening.